Everyone, welcome back to Business as a Magical Practice. Today we're here to talk about should you join a mastermind and what a mastermind actually is. And I have personally been in one for over 3 years, and I do so because I want success and growth to be easy for me and to be steeping in better thoughts than general society. So we don't actually live in an entrepreneur-friendly society, and most entrepreneurial programming is really based in hustle culture. So if you're going around and you're talking about your business to your friends and your family, and they're all living or working in corporate jobs, then they just don't understand what your full experience is and what's required in entrepreneurship and the possibilities of entrepreneurship. So if you're surrounded by employees and you're surrounded by people who maybe have pensions, or they have been working a 9-to-5 for decades, or they really crave that level of safety, or like the facade of safety that is really given in a corporate environment, then you are not actually going to be hearing or accessing the knowledge that will really help you grow quickly, because most people who are entrepreneurs, most people that are employees are, again, they're trying to lean on the safety of someone else paying for them, someone else paying for their time. They're really leaning on trading their time for money. Like if we think of a 40-hour week to get a paycheck. And that is just not what entrepreneurship is at all about, because with entrepreneurship, it's or being an online business owner or being a business owner in general, there really is no ceiling. There's no ceiling in the amount of money you can make. There's no ceiling on how little time it can take. There's no ceiling on how few hours you have to work in a week. And that is just not programmed into you if you went through the public school system, if you have been an employee, if you've been in corporate culture. So really huge thing for me is I want to get into rooms with people who have what I want, who do it in the way that I want, just so that I can, if we're thinking about Kundalini yoga, they teach that you can learn just by being in the aura of someone else. And that is very much how older tantric teachings were taught, is like you are actually in the aura of the master. But also just soaking up their thought patterns. So if you want to know what manifestation looks like in terms of the psychology of your brain, we need to talk about the reticular activating system. Okay. So when a fish is in a fish tank and it's fully immersed in the contained environment within the fish tank, you can change the water and completely change the environment of the fish tank, or move it to a new fresh fish tank. So the reticular activating system within your brain can work the same way, right? So your reticular activating system, and I'm going to probably mess up that word because it is not a natural word to say out of the mouth. Maybe we'll just say RAS. It's a group of neurons at the core of your brain that takes in all of the data that your mind brings in from your senses and forms cohesive thoughts to create your reality. If we didn't have it, we would all be nuts. Because we need something to separate and create any sort of sense or order from all the millions of inputs coming in from 3D reality every single day. So it's evolved to pay attention to things that are important to us, right? And that's why when we start thinking about getting a red Prius, we suddenly see that car everywhere. Our intense emotions and desire for that red Prius has told our reticular activating system it's important. And I mean, it's funny because I feel like the social media algorithm is now a lot like the reticular activating system, in the sense that it's an echo chamber. It shows you more of what you like. It shows you more of what you're paying attention to. And so it becomes this echo chamber of you see more and more and more and more of the same thing. Like I have a one-on-one client who is a human design teacher, and she always talks about how everyone knows about human design, and I keep reminding her that it's just because she's in this weird little human design bubble where the people that she follows are human design teachers, and she just sees human design things over and over and over and over and over again because she markets her business on Instagram. And it, of course, can serve us. Of course it can serve us, but it can also be a serious hindrance to our growth. But sorry, the Instagram example was an aside where essentially we start seeing more and more of what we like and pay attention to. And our reticular activating system works in the same way. So what I like to do, and I brought up the fish tank because we can actually just change the environment that our brain is paying attention to and change the inputs of our life so that we can force our reticular activating system to focus on other things. So I like to intentionally flood my reticular activating system with new data points. That means choosing who you hang out with, who you get advice from. It means you are very intentional about what podcasts you listen to, what is on your Instagram feed. It means intentionally journaling to trying to create new thoughts. Basically, we're trying to tell our reticular activating system what is important instead of it being unintentionally programmed from our childhood or from society. Okay? Because most of our reticular activating systems were programmed from how we grew up, from our parents, from our childhood memories. And unless you grew up with parents with no money blocks and very expansive thoughts around entrepreneurship and what is possible for your life and your business, then it's most likely that this is something that you need to pay attention to and be intentional about. So I want to fill my brain with proof that building a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure business is easy and it requires me to work less, right? That's what I want proof of. That's what I want to show my brain. I also want a lived experience of paying for support. Okay. So with joining a mastermind and being in a mastermind, and I've been in a few over the last 3 years, I'm actually training myself to believe that I deserve to be supported at the highest level. Because you can hit your goals, of course, but why wouldn't you want the journey to feel juicy and heart-opening and happen faster than if you went alone, right? Like anyone can hustle to a 6-figure, 7-figure business, but there aren't that many examples of people who have done it without the grind, of people who have done it while also having a beautiful life outside of work and really treating themselves healthfully and lovingly and with a deep spiritual connection. Okay. Like one of the women who just re-enrolled in the Alchemical Business Intensive for a second round, she joined at the VIP level the first round, which is you get, in addition to the entire mastermind, you get one-on-one monthly calls with me and also Voxer access. So if you don't know what Voxer is, it's like this messaging app that kind of works like a walkie-talkie. So she's re-enrolling, and when she was thinking about she knew she wanted to re-enroll, but she's trying to decide, do I want VIP level again, or do I want to do basic or general level? I don't have a name for that level. But she chose to do VIP level again because when she was sitting with it, she asked herself, why wouldn't I choose to be fully supported throughout this process? And that's what really being in a mastermind is about for me, which is I believe that I can do whatever I want to do, and I can from a young age, I've shown myself I've been able to do anything that I set my mind to or set my drive to. But for me, that's been a lot of grinding and hard work and long hours and dedication. When I really was turned on to the idea of feminine business and supporting your nervous system and working less, I had to go out and seek examples of people and put myself in rooms where people were doing it a more feminine way, a more heart-centered way, a more nervous system supporting way, which required less hours and doing things a completely different way. So I want to be in that room where that is a high priority, where other people that is their exact same goal. Okay. So we naturally want to conform to whatever place we're in, because I mean, you've heard many people talk about how we evolved within tribal, smaller units of humans. And if you in harsh environments, and if you went against the tribe, then you could be kicked out of the tribe. And that often meant death. So in our reptilian brain, in our very fear-centered brain, there's a lot of fear of not conforming, which when you're going out and doing business your own way can be limiting. But you can also hack this by just being in rooms where it is celebrated when you fail, because each quote unquote fail takes you closer to success. It means you're taking big action and you're taking big, not risks, but taking scary steps towards your goals, which help them happen faster. And you want to be in rooms that where making a lot of money as a woman or as a person of color is natural, as normal, because then you can actually start teaching your brain that it is safe, that it is possible. But because we want to conform, why aren't you in the rooms that you would love to conform to? Like, yes, I want to be more like these people, right? So that's a hacker on that. Sorry, that was an aside. We're going in a lot of tangents today, so buckle up, right? You really want to surround yourself with people who embody what you want to be. And another side of this is you really don't want to share your CEO problems with your team. This is something that when you're a CEO, when you have people working for you, it's not like you want to be like, hey, so-and-so, I'm really nervous about hitting our making enough money this month, because these people are essentially your employees. They very often have employee mindsets. They do crave that security of working for a business, which is beautiful. You do want people on your team that want that consistency. You don't want a bunch of entrepreneurs on your team, because they'll just go and start their own business a lot of the time, but that's an aside. You can't share your biggest fears about your business to the people who work for you. It's not an appropriate action to take. And it's not actually where you're going to get the best feedback. Because if you go and tell that person, Susie, I'm really terrified about the next launch, right? They're going to be freaked out. Like, they're not coaches, they're not mentors. They're not going to be able to actually hold space for that. And you also don't want to share your CEO problems with your family. They won't get it. Totally inappropriate. You need an outlet for your fears so you can hold the vision for your company and instill confidence in your team. You, as the leader of your team, should be instilling confidence and vision, right? Not like trying to emotionally process with them, right? And I have an example of this where, when in the first couple years of growing my business, I was doing a lot of scary things. And at that time, I didn't necessarily have the emotional skill set to support myself in that. So I would go have these mental spirals of freaking out around people pleasing a client and setting boundaries and all the things. And my husband, Eddie, I would be talking with him about it just because I needed someone to talk to and someone to express myself to. And his response more than once was, why are you doing this to yourself? You shouldn't, just give up your business if you're this stressed out about it, or you're this worried about it, or you're going through X, Y, and Z. If I would have listened to him, I wouldn't have the business and the level of success I do today. I don't know what I would have done, but if I would have listened to his advice as someone who is not on the same path, I would have completely burned down my business. And for a lot of, if you have family who are not entrepreneurs and you go with your fears and your worries, I know that other people would tell you the same, because I've had clients tell me and peers tell me that, this is what my boyfriend says to me. This is what my boyfriend said to me when I was getting started. This is what my mom said to me when I was getting started. they're going to start to impose their own fear of and desire for stability and safety onto you, which is just not what you need. Okay. So I did want to bring up the term mastermind actually came from Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. That was like the first place that the concept of a mastermind was released. And he talked about something called a mastermind alliance, and goes on to describe a mastermind group as a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. So that's the very basic level of what a mastermind is from the person who came up with the concept of a mastermind. So it really is as simple as you and another person or a few other people with the same, encouraging one another to follow through on a plan and a purpose. So on the basic level, that is what a mastermind is. It's, of course, morphed into a lot of other definitions based on what you're paying attention to. But it can be as simple as you and a friend being together, talking about your business or your goals. One big asset when it comes to masterminds is the potential for connections and collaborations. And this is really huge. If you are not, you're listening to this, so I know you're a business owner, and it can be a really lonely space when you're starting out, when you don't have other entrepreneurs in your physical environment. And there is such a value to, unless you're going to a bunch of networking events, there's such a value in building up your network of other entrepreneurs, because not only are you learning from them and learning their wisdom, learning from their quote unquote fails, but there's also potential and opportunity for collaborations. And some of what I attribute a big part to my level of growth over the last few years has been in partnerships and strategic partnerships with clients and with peers, and being able to launch to other people's email lists or be featured on other people's podcasts. And that isn't just like, oh, I'm going to like meet this random Joe on Instagram and we're going to be partners. Like, you don't want to just partner with anyone. Like, that's why I like to call it strategic partnerships. You do want to be partnering with people who have a certain level of success as you, so that you can access their audience, you can access their expertise. And that is what a mastermind absolutely lets you do, because you're often in a group of people who are in the same level of business or the same level of success. And I know in past rounds of the Alchemical Business Intensive, one woman really, like, she was able to completely fill up her one-on-one offer just from referrals within the program. And just in this last round, the exact same thing happened. Through referrals within the program, she was able to consistently double and triple her revenue just from activating that partnership. And another woman, she was able to collaborate with one of the other women in the program to launch an online course and be featured to her audience and have this big launch and this big new revenue stream. So I see it happen again and again. It's such a great source of collaboration. So, I mean, there are actually a ton of research studies around the power of being in a group. I didn't pull them for today. You're welcome to research them. But I mean, just on a basic level, there's so many research studies that indicate that a group can help develop and operationalize ideas in a quicker fashion than working alone. Maybe I'll send out some of the studies that I've seen in the past to my email list. But that's a quick overview of why, some reasonings of why you do want to join a mastermind or become a part of a mastermind. And I do want to touch on some of the different types of masterminds, and because there are a lot of different types. The first differentiator that came to mind for me was cohort versus rolling. And a cohort model is there's a beginning and end time frame to the program. Maybe that's 6 weeks, maybe that's 6 months, but everyone is joining at the same time and ending at the same time. And this is really great because you are all going through the material at the same time. You are meeting each other at the same time, and you can really lean on the group because there is this level of community that, like, if you think of like a cohort is like, we're all going into first grade together, we're all freshmen in college together, like that's cohort. And that's versus rolling, because there are masterminds that you can join at any time. And I mean, this is beneficial in the sense that you can come and go, as like you don't have to stay there for a set amount of time, or you could stay there for much longer than the starting and ending date. The negative side of that is just if you're someone who has a hard time getting what's the word I'm looking for, situated in a group, it can be hard. Like if there's a set group and you're joining in on a month and everyone's friends with each other and you're coming in, you feel like an outsider, there is a little bit of extra need to connect with everyone. There's also, like, if people have been in there for months and you're just coming in and they're using all the lingo from all the trainings that they've gone through and you haven't gone through the trainings yet because you're brand new to the program, then it can be a little confusing, especially on group calls when they're referencing trainings that you haven't gotten access to. So I do love, I've been in both types of masterminds, and they both, you do have to know yourself of what you want and need. Another differentiator for masterminds is access to the leader. And this is just something to pay attention to. For the leader or the space holder of the container, do you get to have one-on-one calls with them? Are they leading all of the group calls? How many group calls are there? Are they weekly calls? Are they monthly calls? Are they every other week? Because some programs, they have guest facilitator or guest coaches in the program, and the like official leader of the mastermind, they'll only come on once a month to the group calls, and the other calls are led by different facilitators. So it's just something to pay attention to and inquire about. And then other questions is, who is the community? Who is this actual mastermind for? Is it for beginning business owners? Is it for 7-figure business owners? Is it for people with teams? Is it for people in a specific niche? So, I mean, that'll be very obvious on the sales page, or it should be very obvious on the sales page. Another one is it leader-based versus collaboration-based? So leader-based is, the one leader or space holder of the program, and they are like, everything that they say goes. You follow the formula, they're the head coach, and no one else in the group can really weigh in. This is nice because of clarity. Like, there is one person who's saying goes, but it can be a negative if you like to be able to follow your intuition, or you like to be able to hear different sides of things. And then the other version of that is collaboration based, where there's either no leader of the program and everyone's just coming in for the networking opportunity and to hear from other people, or if there is like an official leader of the program, but other people are allowed to coach on the calls. Other people are allowed to share their strategies on the call. I mean, that's how the Alchemical Business Intensive is. Like, yes, I'm the quote unquote leader of the group and all the expertise in there, but I have such a high regard for the level of intelligence and wisdom of the other women who are in the container that, like, yes, we have other people talking. Yes, everyone else can weigh in and give their own expertise in regards to someone's question. And like, especially like, I mean, we have hypnotists, we have shadow workers, we have money mindset coaches. Like, it's so beautiful to be able to hear the expertise from other industries and other experts. So that's what I'm partial to. There's also like a no content versus content type of mastermind, where some masterminds they have a set training or curriculum that you go through. And then there's other masterminds that have no curriculum. There's no trainings, and it's just about the weekly coaching calls or just about the accountability. So just something to pay attention to. And then the final thing that is a differentiator with programs is how many people are in the actual program. So is this when you join the mastermind, are there 50 other people in it? Are there 5 other people in it? Because there's beauty in both. If you want individualized attention, smaller containers are really beautiful. If you want just the networking aspect of it, having access to 50 other people is amazing. But oops, my alarm going off. You do want to pay attention to this, and this is where self-knowledge is really important. Of like, do I want this more intimate setting, or do I want to be able to reach a larger community, and I want access to all of these other people? Okay, so one final comment with this is I do want to touch on desire and really share that you're allowed to join something just because you want to. I'm sharing some reasoning today and some rationalization today of why you'd want to join a mastermind, but you're also just allowed to join something because you want to. Okay. Like in human design, there are 9 different authorities, and which essentially means like the way that you're supposed to make a decision, or the way that your body was designed to make a decision. And none of them are the head or the mind. Not a single one. Or I think there are 9. There might be 7 different authorities, number like that. So quite a good handful of different types of authorities, and none of them are the head or the mind. There's a gut feeling, there's intuition, there's going through an emotional wave, there's talking it out, but none of them are the head or the mind. So we're not actually designed as humans to rationalize our way to a decision. So I just really want to invite you to be okay with trusting your intuition, trusting your desires, trusting that if your heart wants it or your guides are telling you that this is the thing for you, it's okay to just follow that. Okay. And if you're looking to join a mastermind right now, the Alchemical Business Intensive is open right now, which is the 5-month online program mastermind to build out the systems, team, and marketing automations to do the work for you. So you have ample time for whatever the fuck you want to do with your day, while more and more money flows in. So within the Alchemical Business Intensive, there are 3 areas that we focus on. The first is activating your visionary CEO. And this is where you get really crystal clear on your zone of genius and ideal schedule so you can lead your business as the visionary CEO. So first we analyze where you're at in your team, systems, and marketing, so you know the exact path to go on during our 5 months together. But before we dive into implementation, we will activate that visionary CEO identity. So this is where we look at your fears, whether that's fear of not being able to trust or not being able to be supported by a team, and time it takes to have a team, being responsible for people, whatever's creating that invisible wall to hold you from being supported. And we're gently dissolving all of the mental and emotional walls in your belief system on how hard it has to be supported, or have a team that you can trust, or to have systems that hold you instead of you holding the business. And in the past, you probably had bad experiences in hiring and in having to overwork and having a crazy schedule, or a launch failing. And ultimately, this is why in this module, you get your power back. And it's really where we're leaning into the magical side of things, and just the spiritual side of things, and the energetics, which is such a key component of you as the business owner. So The second part, so first is activating the visionary CEO. The second part is upgrading and automating the potency of your marketing. So this is where we optimize your launches and communication to attract more of your favorite clients and have your sales on autopilot. Because let's be real, the thing that takes the most of your time is keeping up with lead generation, with social media, and making sure you have sales coming in. I mean, it's such a key element of online business. Like a good 50% is marketing and sales, right? So that's why in this step, we're going to automate your marketing processes and maintain the essence of your unique voice so that you can relax in the spaciousness of your day-to-day while knowing your message is meeting more people. And you and I know that what attracts clients is the quality of your copy. So this is why you get copywriting upgrades. With the copywriter on my team, she's actually will edit your work, give you feedback on your work so that you can really elevate over our 5 months together, because we want all of it to be, instead of landing flat, turning heads, right? We want people to be scroll stopping without you having to do it yourself too. And then the third piece of this that we really focus on in the Alchemical Business Intensive is reclaiming your time. So important. So this is where you build out your systems and your team to give you your time back and support you in doubling your business year after year. So while the outside of your business may seem manicured, on the back end, maybe it feels like you're the only one in the kitchen preparing a 5-course meal, and then you have to serve it to a full house, right? This leaves you feeling drained, overwhelmed, and you know in your heart it's not sustainable, right? The problem is that the thought of hiring a team, training them, creating processes, building out automations, it's not your zone of genius as a creative and as a visionary and as a spiritual catalyst. So in this step of the process, you not only learn how to create processes for your unique business. This is not fucking formulaic, because you actually hold a unique energetic blueprint for what your business is supposed to create. And then you also get, on top of that, plug and play standard operating procedures for the things that you want to plug into your business, which will make your business more efficient, profitable, spacious. So that is within the training element of the Alchemical Business Intensive. All of that is pre-recorded for you to go through on your own time, so that during our weekly calls together, you can just bring up exactly what you need to. And you don't have to watch the trainings that aren't relevant to you. You can double down on the ones that you really need to be focusing on during these 5 months. So we meet 3 times a month for group coaching calls. And then the 4th call of the month is an implementation call. So during the group coaching calls, you get coached live, get your questions answered by me and also the other participants. I actually think it's really important that you're able to get the expertise of other highly spiritual, magical, intelligent individuals who are also online business owners. And then during the monthly implementation calls, this is time carved out for you to actually prioritize the projects you have identified as key to getting you to your program goal. So at the beginning of the implementation call, you claim what you're working on, and then we work through it together. You're able to ask questions. We work through it together. We're there together, all working in our own space, but I'm there to answer questions that come up. We can actually straight up go into a sales funnel and set that up and do the implementation work that needs to be done. And this is the people in past rounds have so loved this element, which actually surprised me. It was requested by participants, and so we added it into the program, and people love it so much because often, as really busy people or people with full lives or whatever, like you spending a time outside of your business, we often pay attention to the most urgent parts of our business or the most fun parts of our business. And the things that we know will get us to the next level, or will know be incredibly important to our revenue, or we know will automate things and give us our time back, we will push off and will put off. So this is actually the time when you can have accountability and support to do the things that you know will help your business move forward and get to hit your goals. So there's also a Slack community. We're off of Facebook. We use Slack instead, and you can get some community support there and guidance from other visionary CEOs on their business journeys. You can make friends, supporters for life who can help you work through challenges as they arise and feel fully seen, heard, and felt on your journey. It's not just about the calls, but this is a place that you can go to 24/7. So bonuses here are, we have our copy coaching, which I mentioned. There's a custom hypnosis that I commissioned from someone who uses, her business is really around supporting people in scaling to $100,000 months and beyond. So this hypnosis is seriously juiced up and so good. So you get that immediately when you join. You get, we have a huge focus on the soul of your business. You get the overflowing SOP vault, tons of tech how-tos, and your team gets access to. So I haven't seen that many programs like at all that it's not just you joining, your team can join. If you have a virtual assistant, if you have a team that's supporting you, they can actually come to calls, they can access all of the trainings so that you can actually assign the sections on building systems, automating and running ads to your team while you focus on embracing your full power as the visionary CEO. Okay. So when you join the Alchemical Business Intensive, you get immediate access to Monetize Your Magic, which is my process for booking out online services. And so you can get started immediately and start getting results. And we are open for application right now. We start on May 6th, 2022. So applications are open now for that. And I did want to go through a quick frequently asked questions around this, because I have been getting people DMing me and emailing me with more logistical questions. I figured let's just answer that right now, you guys. So first of all, in terms of weekly calls, there are around 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how many people need coaching or need support that week. And those are every Thursday at, I have to do time conversions in my head. It's at 1 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Eastern time, depending. And those are US time zones. And then we have a kickoff event at the beginning, which is May 6th and May 7th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time each day. And so let's convert to Eastern time. It is 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern time on May 6th and 7th. So that is where you can really get a huge download of information, of trainings, and also deep connection with the other participants. So if you want to go through this program thoroughly, how much of your time per week? This is what people were asking. So that one seriously depends on the goals and priorities you choose for the 5 months together. General estimate is about an hour a week for the weekly calls, about 2 hours a month to go through the trainings. You do not have to go through all the trainings. You can just focus on the ones that are relevant to you and your business. For implementation, that really depends on your focus and how much you're willing to hand over to your team. If you have a team, launching a new program will obviously take way more time than relaunching a program. Hiring a new team will take way more time than up-leveling a current one. Optimizing a current marketing channel will take way less time than starting a new audience from scratch on a brand new platform. So it depends on where you're at. It depends on what your focus is. So what stage of business are the people who do this program generally at? Generally, they're making around $5,000 to $20,000 each month in gross revenue. And obviously they have an established online business with offers and client success. There are outliers. There are people making less than that. There are people making more than that, round by round. But that's in general, they're like a $5,000 to $20,000 in monthly revenue. What should my reasonable expectation be for return on investment in this program? That was an email sent in. And honestly, this varies significantly person by person, depending on what your focus is on, because some people are focusing on increasing their revenue during the 5 months, while others are focusing on systematizing, hiring, and getting their time back. And so it really depends on how much value you put on systematizing and how much value you put on your time. and where you're currently at. So that one, it really, really depends person by person. Another question that was sent in is, how much accountability do you hold people to? And honestly, you define your priorities at the beginning of the program. And then again, halfway through, there are check-ins in Slack on a monthly basis. There is a ton of accountability on the weekly calls and in Slack. But if you choose not to attend, that's not something I require of anyone. I really hold the belief and have proof that you can show up to 1% of the program and get 10x the value. Like, I've had people every single round do that. Like, you do not have to show up to everything. You do not have to go through every training. You don't have to be an A+ student in order to get insane results. So in terms of accountability, like, that's where self-awareness comes in. How much accountability do you need? You can ask for it. The structures are there for that. Okay. So another question was, what's the feeling and culture of the 15-person community? Because this round, there's up to 15 people. We've already have 6 people join. So actually, that might not be true because this comes out in a week. When I'm recording this, which is April 21st, we've had 6 people join. And so there's 9 spots left for the next couple weeks. And I have 11 sales calls booked with people interested in joining. So I mean, I honestly don't know how many spots there will be by the time this comes out. But based on the previous 2 programs, because we've run the Alchemical Business Intensive twice now, this will be the 3rd run of it. And honestly, it's an extremely supportive, generous container where people genuinely care about your success, genuinely want to support you, and really desire to know you. Like, again and again, I ask people in an exit survey about the community, and people, like, it will heal your sisterhood wounds if you have any. Like, if you show up to the calls, like, you will be supported. There is just so much love there. And I have a Cancer moon with astrology. So I really feel like the culture is Cancer moon. So very, like, so much embrace, so much care. And I fucking love it. It's so good. It's like the best. Is just like, there's so much, it's so sweet to witness the amount of love and care that's in the container. And there are people re-enrolling from the previous round, so they get to help hold the frequency of that, which I know is there. So those are some of the questions that people have sent in. If you have any questions coming up for you, feel free to DM us at The Dirty Alchemy on Instagram, or email us at support@thedirtyalchemy.com. And just, I mean, in conclusion, we're really shooting for you to become the visionary CEO, the visionary leader who trusts her intuition and the unique way she was meant to lead and create. You will be creating or tweaking your offer so it becomes easier and easier to sell and deliver and profit from. You'll create the marketing assets and learn how I've launched 7-figure programs for clients. And you'll do this all your way. So expressing your gifts, leaning into your authentic nature. And you'll learn how to build a team, automate, and create systems that are becoming more and more efficient. And you'll set your business up in a way that will allow it to be a powerful force with a mission and destiny of its own, right? Like, yes, you're the business owner, but your business is a separate entity than you. You need to allow it to be as powerful and magnanimous as it can possibly be. So love you all. Happy Thursday. I'll see you next week. I think we'll be having a special guest, but I won't announce it in case I'm getting my weeks wrong. And I'd love to hear from you. Like, what's your experience with masterminds? What do you love about them? Have you been in ones where you would have tweaked it if you were the one leading it? Let me know. Feel free to tag us on Instagram at The Dirty Alchemy. And I'll see you next Thursday, for our next Business as a Magical Practice episode.